up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to, again, the Joint Effort Podcast. We're back here again. It's your boy Jerry Juice. We also got Ganja Bear Site, North Carolina Hemp Reviews is back. We got Dad. CJ will do it. Told us he's awake this time, so any moment now we might have him too. That would be a full cast, and that's quite the vibe.
Dude, I took that diamond bar, but now I'm feeling absolutely schlumped.
Well, that's nothing fucking fantastic. Do it. Like, let's do it. Hell yeah. I only got the, I don't know. I gotta grow another 50 people to do it.
You know, we are all pretty stoned, so try to stay on topic. Yo, what is up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to, again, the Joint Effort Podcast. We're back here again. It's your boy Jerry Juice. We also got Ganja Bear Site, North Carolina Hemp Reviews is back. We got Dad. CJ will do it. Told us he's awake this time, so any moment now we might have him too. That would be a full cast, and that's quite the vibe.
It'll be good.
It is good. Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another Joint Effort Podcast. A little short-handed this week. I'm not quite sure where Ganja Bear's at. He's going through a lot right now.
I'm not sure
so-
Ganja Bear knows where he's at.
No. Going through a lot right now, guys. Ganja Bear's, I think, switching up cribs. He was up all night packing. Hopefully, homie's good, right?
Yeah.
But the podcast must go on. So, it's
Must
Jerry
go on.
Juice. That's Dad. We're going to blaze a bit, chill a bit, talk a
Yo.
little bit about the news. But if you can't tell by the title, it was honestly a kind of boring week as far as the news goes.
Yeah, there really was not too much. There's usually a ton more. There was one or two things that we'll touch on, but I was kind of surprised that with the election and stuff getting closer every week that there wouldn't be more. But
Yeah, it
Hey,
seems
that's
like just
okay.
a lot of people
Is
yelling,
what it is.
yelling about stuff. You must remove it from Schedule 1. It's like, okay, but
No.
what schedule are you going to put it into? It's like, it doesn't matter. We just got to remove it from Schedule 1. It's like, okay, but like, that's not how legislation works.
no,
And
no.
weird that we got to tell the Congress people such, but hey, hopefully they figure it out, because otherwise nothing will get done.
No, and I feel like they're just playing a giant game of kick the can. Or it's like, oh, it's not on us now. Here's our recommendation. Now it's on them. Oh, here's what we say. Now it's on. And it's like, can someone just say yes? Here we go. We're moving forward with this. But
X,
it's
Y, Z.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like you can't demand we change the scheduling of cannabis and then not have a plan for where we're going to bring it.
Right.
Because you can't
Right.
just take it off schedule one and not put it in a new schedule if you reschedule it. I mean,
No.
I still think we should deschedule it. It doesn't need to be any at all, but hey,
No.
we'll see.
But they have to have some plan, especially while they don't, this entire hemp market and loophole continues to just thrive. It's like you got to come up with something.
It does expose,
know.
though, that I think that none of these people, despite what they say is part of their platform, part of their agenda, none of them actually have a plan in regards to it.
Yes.
If
Yes.
they did, their counterparts, the people around them, wouldn't be running around foolish as a gopher. Like, these people don't know what they're doing. They're popping their heads up,
No.
yelling stuff, exposing the fact they got no plan.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, they have no idea what they're doing. And I mean, it's even clear with the farm bill. Like, these are not scientists making these decisions.
Or
You know?
let alone people who smoke.
Speaking of smoking,
Let's take a
cheers.
hit
I got
here.
some Godfather OG and some papaya punch, y'all. Take a hit.
Oh,
Cheers.
vaporizing. No combust.
Yes, sir.
I gotta get a vape. I keep saying it and not doing it. Ooh. Yeah, that was cheetah piss. Haven't had cheetah piss in a little bit. Wow, look how long that vape can make that last. That's incredible. Meanwhile, my bowl's gone like snap.
Yeah, this little thing kicks ass, man. I love this thing. Especially through a bong. Smacks.
Yeah. So, the only thing I think that really developed since last week. Last week we touched on Hawaii did not pass recreational use, and so they started moving on towards trying to decriminalize the plant with further legislation. Their Senate killed that bill, so I'm not really sure why there is such a hatred toward the plant there, but
That's
I am
crazy.
sorry to Hawaiians. It really, it's like a try again, revise, rewrite, and find a new approach and try again. Maybe on local areas. Expand slowly outward and have all of the counties, towns to criminalize it, because it that is crazy at this point in time, especially with like the tourism industry there.
Well, I mean, that, and what a state known for having such a deep appreciation for like local culture and plant life and nature,
Yeah.
to have such a heavy opposition to this plant, that's of all states, that's surprising.
It
You know?
blows my mind. It's what you would assume Texas would be passing.
Right. Well, it's like, I mean, talk about from a, I mean, the way they could market that, like, really good Hawaiian weed, like, so you could have such a tourist aspect of that.
Maybe the locals don't want anymore. Is that a part of it?
True. That could,
I don't know. I mean, tourists can get a little bit annoying, being where the area grew up, right? People from
Yeah.
New York escaping the city would come up, and sometimes the personalities didn't mesh too well with some of the other people, and yeah,
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a good point. It could be, it's the very fact that they care about their culture and local stuff that they don't want it because they know the tourism that'll come, unless it was like at least, I don't, does Hawaii have a medical program at all? At least they should have something like that for the people that live there. I don't know.
no, the push was to go straight to recreation. So I assume they already have a medical program.
Yeah, it's been
since
legal since
2000.
2000. Wow.
So, and they were still very against recreational. Interesting. They allow for 4 ounces of cannabis between the registered patient and caregiver. What do
Wow.
you mean, caregiver? Looks like I need to do a deep dive in
I wonder
their
if it's the
program.
same for Denver with because like we had it where, like, let's say my dad had a med card and I had a med card. My dad never planned on growing anything.
Okay.
He could go to the state or it just be his through his doctor that gave him the medical card, basically saying, "I want my son Zach to be my caregiver," and then I could take his plant count and add it to mine. So instead of
Bro.
having 6 plants in flower, I could have 12. They also did it where if you depending on like what medical condition you got your med card for, the doctor could sign off on an extended plant count. So if you suffered from like severe chronic pain and you were estimating that 6 plants in flower were not going to be enough and you're like I need 15 plants to have sufficient medication, if they wrote off and signed off on that, then you could legally grow 15. I'm not sure if it's still that way in Colorado, but that's how it was.
That's phenomenal.
Wild.
That's
Oh
kinda
yeah,
cool.
it was
like,
it was really cool.
especially
They were very like home grow friendly, at least at first.
yeah. I mean, that would make sense though, because
Yeah.
I mean, that whole neighborhood pharmacist quote, right?
Mhm,
I mean, like
yeah.
the person literally used to be. Now, what if they truly are the expert? Just let them grow your plant
Grow,
for
yes.
you,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And whatever
Yes,
weird
makes
deal
total
y'all
sense.
make on this, it just makes sense. I mean, in Barcelona, when I was traveling there and got invited to go into a social club, it was kind of cool because it's basically the same principle. You're allowed to have a couple plants as a Spaniard. And because of that, you can also give away the grow right to somebody else. And so if everybody in a group gives it to the social club, then the social club can now grow XYZ amount of plants depending on how many members it has.
Yeah.
So I mean, getting to go in and get the weed in that type of situation. It was interesting how they could charge for the weed on top of that, though. That's the part I didn't quite get. But
Interesting. So they charge for the membership to the club and then for the weed on top of the membership?
yeah, yep. And
Interesting.
you kind of give them the grow right, but maybe it like keeps you
Interesting.
out of risk, I guess, or
True.
in compliance. So there are some
Yeah,
benefits
right.
to it, but I like the idea of giving away the grow right. Not that I would give away mine, but I feel like that gives a lot of freedom.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I like the idea too of like a cannabis club, like a place. Yeah, I'm all for
Yeah.
smoking in your home and privately too, but like having a club you could go and if you drink, have a nice glass of wine, or if you don't, have just a good cup of coffee or something, sit back and just that would be nice. That would be cool to see that. I know some like, there's certain places in like Denver, I think in Cali that have stuff kind of like that now.
Yeah.
That would be cool to see that go like nationwide eventually.
People
know,
try to
that would be
regulate it too much, I feel like, though, is the
Yeah.
stuff that we run into. It's like with all the
Mhm.
rules, restrictions, etc. My state, I don't think that'd be possible, but it would be like a very safe
Yeah.
way to get people to start consuming it more properly and to educate the
Yeah.
public on it.
Yes.
And to
Yes.
build an image of responsible
Right,
usage
right.
for
Yep.
people.
Yep.
I mean, it's crazy how the hemp markets tend to have a better representation of this with dab bars and canned drink bars than legal
Right.
markets do.
Yes. No, that's a very weird point. The
You can
the loophole industry is more in tune with that than the actual legal industry.
Yeah, I mean, you can go to a kava or a kratom bar in more places than you can go to a cannabis bar.
Yeah.
Which I don't get. Like, what is? I mean, I guess the fact that somebody has to drive afterwards, type. But in a heavy walkable area, why can't you have a place where people can come and pay you for 3 bong rips and an infused beverage?
Well, and I'd even argue with kava bars. Like, I've only had that I think 3 times total, but like had a heavy dose of that, I wouldn't want to drive after.
No,
Like, no,
no.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
no thanks.
I just
Like,
but I guess it's because it wouldn't go through the dispensary. It wouldn't do.
mm,
So we need some alternative cannabis business models. I don't know how they would break it down. I would hate for it to be, but it's going to end up having to be regulated. But if they
Yep.
could figure out something for like single use, single serve business models where these business models can go buy the product through a authorized distributor or whatever the state wants to call it and then serve beverages, hits,
Yep.
tabs.
yeah. It'd be wild if they did like a. We saw this in the one or two dispensaries. I've seen it a few places online, but have like a CBD or a THC or even a 1-to-1 patch you could do, and then have
Okay.
it where like athletes could just, like, even if it's just pure CBD, have it. They're going on the training field or the court, grab a, stick it on and just help them stay loose while they're training or in a game.
Yeah. I mean,
There's so many things you could do.
very underappreciated as a topical.
Oh yeah,
Very
no doubt,
underappreciated as a
no
topical.
doubt.
Usually legal limits though is why because people haven't truly experienced the
Yeah.
full benefit. Yeah, some of the CBD rubs were like wow, but then but it's once you get outside of the ones you get into like the make your own tinctures and you rub some of that on top and you feel
Yes.
there's a reason some people
People-
refer to it as a miracle plant. On the pain relief side, we don't quite understand the possibilities yet.
Oh,
on the
no, for
legal
sure.
Market.
No. Well, and I think a lot of people that say they don't like CBD are oftentimes people that just haven't had CBD they could feel. And once you have CBD at a dose and a quality that you can feel, yes, if you associate getting high with it really strictly a head change, sure, you may not associate CBD with having much of an effect, but you
Yeah.
all appreciate a good body high and you find quality CBD in a good dose. Man, it's really nice. Like you can really, for me at least, I feel like all my joints are well oiled. I can think a little bit clearer. Um, Especially like I said, if it's a good dose and good quality CBD, people sleep on that. They really do.
For
That's good.
sure. For sure. I mean, CBD is. It's a compound that can create so much happiness and peace basically in a day if you just find that right dose.
That's a
Two
great way to put
good
it.
ways, but on a medicinal side, on a reactionary side, how your receptors are going to take it is in recent studies they're finding it can really help you recover from using too much THC. It like pulls a receptor in the opposite direction. It reopens it up to once again absorb THC again afterwards.
Interesting.
So
And
if
that
you
makes
were-
sense. Like you hear the best cure if you're greened out, smoke a CBD joint or something, and it kind of brings you back to that. Oh, okay, I'm good.
Yep, and it's not just it competing for your receptors in the moment. It's literally reopening. It's saying, hey, no, you can absorb more. It's allowing more
Wow.
to bind to the receptor itself. It's got a lot more going on than the simple. It punches a THC molecule out of the way.
Sure,
It's like, no, that's
sure.
my spot, and grabs it.
Yeah, right. Well, and I think it's also people sleep on the 1-to-1 ratio. Like when you can marry that THC and CBD together, it's like, to me, it's the way I describe it as someone that's never experienced it. And this probably isn't the best way to describe it, but for me, it's similar to being like crossfaded, but not exactly. But it's like how if you just normally smoke a bowl or you smoke a bowl after a little bit of an alcohol buzz, you can tell there's a difference. And it's similar with the CBD. Like when you marry the 1-to-1 ratio, for me, it's like you just feel the THC in a deeper way. It's like
Yeah.
that's how I would describe it.
100%.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they describe the science on that quite the same. I mean, drink a lot and you'll stop feeling THC basically in general. But like a shot's worth, the way that it allows for your body to better absorb the THC afterwards. It makes the membranes a little bit more broken down, obviously, so that you can absorb it straight through those. But I forget what it did on the lung basis that made it so it absorbs better too.
Wow.
But it's kind of interesting because it literally will. But if you are somebody, whoever has those moments where you get home in the evening, you know, like, I want to go grab a drink, I want to go grab a. There's really nothing wrong with that, first of all. But second of all, taking a CBD bowl down or a 1-to-1 bowl if you're going to go smoke anyways can do that same serotonin boost, that same flip of the switch during the day, the same dopamine, and it produces a lot of the same neurotropic effects. Is that the word?
There you go. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, that's wild. And I mean, it makes sense because it's like you said, it kind of does the similar thing, allows your body to absorb it and take more of it in a deeper way, so you feel it a little bit more. And if you haven't done that, if you haven't tried mixing your CBD with THC, try it. It's a match made in heaven, you know. Like you said, there's a reason they call it the miracle plant.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. I think we're really starting to learn more and more how to use it. Right. Got a nice, interesting order coming in of a little bit of THCV flower because for a few mornings in a row, I started my morning with bowls of CBD and THC flower mixed together. And it just gives a very nice nootropic effect as well, where I'm more focused, more stimulated mentally to get stuff done. But with all the pain relief, and I'm still so I'm still happy.
Yes.
I'm wondering if I put some THCV flower, and this flower is gonna be some CBD in it as well. So I'm gonna try to figure out the ratio. Will that provide that extra oomph boost and go get it? Because that'll be a little less of a mind high because it's very known for the clear high. But I'm wondering if it will give this nice entourage effect, almost medicinal.
I'd imagine so.
Over the next
I mean, you've
few
already got
weeks,
the.
I need energy.
Yeah.
So add a little energy to the bowl.
Yes, sir, you will.
For people who get the reference, yes, kid should be here any day now. Any date, like literally, maybe tomorrow. Wow, to say that's kind of outrageous.
Yeah.
So hopefully that arrives one of the next few days because if it pairs with a cup of coffee, that I'm pretty sure will be in my hand all day long, I'll be happy.
Yes, sir. Yep, that's the truth. You will be happy, and you will develop a new appreciation for caffeine. Yeah, that's okay. You have plenty of time to catch up on sleep in 18 to 22 years. That's how we always joke about it. No, it's really not that bad. But it's a little different, you know. They gotta eat and they poop. You gotta change them, and you know. But it's the best, man. It's the absolute best. Tiger Medicine just says, "I am coffee."
Yeah, I mean,
hilarious.
coffee has replaced about 40% of the other fluids in my body. People always say that they're like, 80-some% water, bro. Pretty sure 30% of that's coffee at this point.
Oh, for sure.
30.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
They're gonna, if they ever investigate my body, they'd be like, "There's an issue here, sir." Do you drink uncaffeinated beverages? I'm like, what's the point of an uncaffeinated beverage? That wouldn't do anything. There's no utility to that.
Yeah, right. There's no use case for that.
Jokes aside,
That's
people
hilarious.
drink water. Hydration
Yes.
is key in life. God, you will stop getting sick. You will start having more energy. What do they say?
That's the truth.
I think they say that the term pissing is a good thing.
Yeah. Yes. Piss and piss often.
Yes.
You know?
What is
Absolutely.
crazy,
There was on a local level where I live, they're voting over the next week, or they've been voting the last week. It ends Tuesday, to decriminalize, because hemp obviously is thriving here. I live in Texas, if you don't know. But locally in the city that I'm in, they're voting to actually decriminalize it.
Which
So we'll
is
see. That'll be interesting to see if it
super probably necessary.
Yes.
as the moment any of y'all smoke it until you breathe it out. It's like a weird 30-second
Yes.
intersection where like the
Yeah,
plant could be
yes.
argued as
Yes.
like while you're grinding it, still good. While you're packing it in the bowl, still good. While you're sparking it, the smoke. I mean, no one's ever made the smoke illegal, so like there's this weird
Right.
like, micro moment.
It's
where
all
just,
we.
like,
Yes. Yes.
So to the homies smoking joints, I was just like, oof.
Yeah. Balls
Yeah,
on
maybe
you.
there's a extra micro moment, but that
Yeah.
would be great. Just it would say, hey, buy the legal stuff.
Yes.
Do this safely. It would just,
Yes.
yeah, that's good. That's good.
You know. Yeah. So
It's a
hopefully
step in
it,
the right direction.
goes through. It is. It is. You know, it's about time Texas, the state, really gets on board and one recognizes the medical program we do have here is complete horseshit, and then actually make steps to just make it legal across the state.
Yeah.
Watch, that'll happen just in time for us to leave, though. It'd be hilarious.
Yeah, for sure. God, going to a much more legal, different state
Oh,
where
yes.
you're going to have a lot more competition and perspective.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Weird
doubt.
state. Weird state with weird loophole in North Carolina. Medical marijuana sales beginning at the Cherokee store in the state. So, North Carolina, famous for, the hemp market basically being the market of North Carolina, right?
Yep.
Has a Cherokee reservation where they opened a dispensary and they're allowing medical marijuana sales.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's been long stated that it was going to happen.
Is it just for those that live on the reservation, or can you travel into the reservation to purchase and then travel out?
That is something
What does it
I'm
say?
trying to do a little bit of
Yeah.
research and read real quick on, because medical marijuana is still not legal in North Carolina. There's been a lot of debate that we've touched on this year, but basically you have a lot of hemp dispensaries or cannabis dispensaries selling THCA and stuff of that sorts inside of them. Imagine that type of push, though. Like, basically inside the state, it's happening.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I mean, I would imagine maybe they could at least use it as a test case. It's
It opened
because
up
they have
to-
that in Arizona for I believe ayahuasca now. There are a couple reservations, I believe, that do that now in Arizona. So yeah, that's interesting. I don't know at all the legalities around it, if it's only for those that live on the reservation as part of like the religious ceremonial things there, or if it's open to people that can come on the reservation to do it. I don't know, but that's wild. I think it's the same for peyote. I think peyote is legal in certain Indian reservations in Arizona.
I mean, they run their own medical program.
Yeah,
So,
For
they
sure.
would be able to determine
yeah.
who they allow. But at the moment, adults
True,
at least
that's-
21 with an age with a medical cannabis patient card or a tribe medical patient card
Interesting.
or an out-of-state approved medical marijuana card can purchase at the organization. So if you were to bring your approved medical card from any other state, you can currently purchase there.
Wow.
Can a North Carolinian get an approval in a different state, or do you need to? No, because I know in my state you'd have to have an address. They wouldn't
That's
let you.
wild.
But that means like if you're traveling there,
Yeah.
so far.
Well, and that seems interesting because that like it opens up the reservation to quite a lot of tourism, which is
Different.
yeah. Like I only have experience. I did a thing back in high school. I won't get too specific because the internet will know where I went to high school, but I got the chance to work with a Indian tribe in Wyoming. over the course of several days. We stayed. Our class went up there and stayed up there, and they had this one nickname for if someone from the reservation left to go to college and like got a quote unquote like normal job, just like a in not on the reservation, they called them an apple, meaning they were red on the outside but actually white on the inside. So they only had the appearance of being from the reservation. And so it's interesting that at least that reservation was very much like, yes, you can come and learn about our culture, but we are very closed off and private and don't want tourism to a large degree. This was for a schooling purpose. So it's interesting to see that reservation in North Carolina. No, not only if you have if you don't have a car but you live here, you can come. And if you have a medical card in any other state, come on. Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Connecticut, where one of the famous native reservations is Mohegan Sun Resort and Casino.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes what happens, and it could be smart and is good for the tribe, right? They're given sovereign land for the purpose of being able to give back to their tribe. And since so many people, I guess, do move off, right? It's good that they go and they make money for their people to an extent.
Totally.
I am way more a fan of them selling medical cannabis than utilizing somebody's gambling addiction to make lots of
Well,
money.
you just reminded me too. I forgot that Arizona has casinos because of the reservation, like Talking Stick Casino. It's a big one right off the corner of where Scottsdale meets Phoenix.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, I want to get my gamble on again when I get back there. I love playing poker. I haven't played poker in years. I totally forgot they have casinos there. That's crazy.
Texas does not have casinos.
No. But I also forget, like, we have an ocean, which is really weird. I always forget that we have a beach. It's weird. You don't think of Texas as having a beach, but we do. Like,
The
Port
Gulf,
Aransas, the Gulf. Oh, yeah, it is beautiful down there.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Huh.
I've only been there a handful of times, but I loved every time I went.
I'm not huge on casinos, you know.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
not been the biggest thing for me.
No, I'll go
really,
for, like, a poker game, but that's really it, you know?
the table buy-ins are just too high. I guess I'm not balling enough. Yeah, even
No, I
people
get you.
say that they find $5 tables, but you got to show up early. You got to do all these other.
Yeah.
I don't
Yep.
want to go to the casino at noon just to make it in
No,
time for the $5
Nah.
tables.
No.
Because
You better just get a group of buddies around a table, you know? Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, even
Yeah.
slots, though. I swear I'm cursed, though. I've just done never won at gambling. It's like God has his eyes a little too close on me. And he's like, you're not allowed to gamble. And every time I try to take the 2 steps into it, it's just like one day, we was in
Yeah, it's
Aruba,
funny.
right? And there's no
Yeah.
tax on winning. So we were like, oh, this is pretty cool. Let's go $100
Yeah.
each of us. Let's run in here.
Yeah.
And the speed in which, even on penny slots, we went through $100. I mean, wife went a little bit, went up and down like a normal person does. Me, it's just
Sure.
my
Yeah.
knees literally
Ugh.
every time. I think every of the 7 times I've tried, it's just like no. It's
Oh,
no
man.
fun.
Yeah, I've only played slots a handful of times, never won. And then a funny story, my dad, we went to Vegas one time, he and I, and this was my first experience gambling in a casino. I was like maybe 22, 23. And I'll never forget it. He and I just played blackjack because I was honestly too nervous to try to play it at like a Hold'em table or something, be my first time in a casino.
Yeah.
So we played at the Horseshoe and one other place I forget. And my poor father, bless his heart, just did horribly. Lost all of the cash he brought for gambling purposes. I tripled my money and paid rent that month at my apartment with what I made from blackjack. It was the funny. It must have just been beginner's luck, and I stopped. But man, everywhere we went, it was like I maybe lost a little bit, but I always gained it back. And then
Yeah.
blackjack was just great to me, and I was like, okay. And I don't I honestly don't think I've played in a casino since. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna chill there, call it good. I love playing with some friends though, but I haven't been in a casino in quite a minute.
Blackjack and poker are a lot of fun. I wish I could.
Hmm.
I should hop into some game, make a game or something.
We
if
should
I'm
do a
not gonna-
joint effort Discord poker game.
that
Set it
would
up
be
online.
fun. Yeah,
That'd be a
would get
blast.
People involved. Obviously, there could be no buy-in people.
Right.
However, we could bet like nugs.
Yeah. And we'll have to do it like we could do it like all of us on this screen because if we all streamed individually, we you'd have people in the comments like, "Hey, Ganja Bear's got aces, fucking fold. Ganja Bear's got," you know what I mean? Going to each other's chat and telling us what everybody else has.
That's wild, yo. That's
I had an old
wild.
buddy in high school that I played poker with, and this motherfucker, he made the mistake several times of we'd deal out the cards, and just subconsciously he'd be like, "Oh, Jack 6," and I'd be like, "Hey, you just said what your hand is. Oh fuck, redeal." We'd redeal like, "Oh, all right, 4-6." I'm like, you just said what he would do all the
Stop
time. It was
thinking out
hilarious.
loud. No,
Mhm.
what would
I was
be
like, "Shut the
great
fuck up."
is if somebody could, and maybe it'd have to be that casino right there, not casino, that dispensary there in North Carolina. Somebody should do like a fusion of these two things, casino and a dispensary. Like, since we,
Dispensino.
I'm just thinking
The
it would
scenery.
be dope while in a casino. That is the exact vibe I want to join. Calm
Yes.
down, take everything in, slow down.
Yes.
Replace the smoking. Make the smoking sections cool again. Make the smoking sections cool again. They used to
Okay,
be cool back
yes.
when cigarettes were all right, but now we know that they got awful for you. What
We need a shirt that says "Make the smoking sections cool again" and a cannabis leaf right there.
Yeah,
That's what we need.
bro. People should be able to like wear.
What a vibe that would be! Walking in a casino with a blunt, sitting down to play some cards with a blunt,
In
an
New
espresso
York,
or a
wherever you can
cup of
smoke a
scotch.
cigarette, you can smoke a joint. I think that is the coolest current legal system for consumption.
That's amazing.
That is,
Yeah, that's
Of
cool.
course, people are already trying to fight and get rid of that because it was too good. Because it was correct.
Yeah, right. Of course, it's a
They're
step in the right
angry
direction.
A little bit. I mean, it's just different. There's growing pains from the other side, and they're gonna be louder
Yeah.
because guess what? When
Yeah.
you smoke, you calm down. That's why we need
Yeah,
somebody.
true.
We need more people
Yeah.
on the side of it who understand that don't consume but still have passion, and that's a weird thing that won't
Yes.
happen until
Yes.
some of the more
Yes.
medical aspects, I hate to say, are investigated because then they can be
Agreed.
publicized.
One thing I've found surprising too, especially with like Rogan moving to Austin and stuff. There was a lot more weed based content with his guests and stuff. He still has that every now and again, but I'm so surprised that no one has come on his show yet to talk about the farm bill loophole, excuse me. Like no one's talking about THCA. And I'm like, what a platform to
Like he just like shocking people, yeah. Imagine just
and
hitting
no
up-
one. I'm like,
I
come
mean-
on, man. You
Yeah.
you live in Texas. Like that missed opportunity. You
You
know.
don't even have to be the biggest THCA company. You could probably get a spot by hitting up his manager saying, "Did you know I legally sold $2 million in cannabis in the mail last year?
Yes.
Hit me back.
Right.
I'll tell you how. I just want a chance to interview with." Like,
Mhm.
I
I'm
know
so
a lot of
surprised
your
that no
numbers
one has
are
done that.
well beyond that. Well
Mhm.
beyond that.
Yes. Like that would be huge, and it's such a way and platform to establish credibility and start to really destigmatize it. You know, it's
As long as you
I'm just so surprised no
professionally
one's done
talk
that.
about it.
yeah,
As long as
exactly,
it's not a
exactly.
cash grab for you, this should be a very
Yeah. Mm-hmm. mm-hmm.
That's the exact type of content.
Mm-hmm.
You guys would probably spend 30 minutes explaining the A part, then he would be like, "Well, wait,
Yes.
have you ever
yes.
tried DMT? And then after you answer that question, you'll go back onto the topic and probably get to
Yeah,
talk about your
right?
business a little bit.
Yeah, it always surprises me. I'm like, that would be such a great avenue to shed some light on this loophole. And then, like, well, and I even think I might be wrong on this, but I know his longtime buddy, Joey Diaz, he has at least a THC company, but I believe it's THCA, if I'm not mistaken. I thought it was. Uh, could be wrong on that, but he was even on just a couple weeks ago, and nothing. No mention of it, which is so odd to me.
One of those moments that surprised me is that Eric Kahn creators stuff came out and it ended up being in dispensaries and not THCA.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he released
Huh.
some Pine Park Select stuff. Ended up
Oh
being,
wow. Huh.
yeah, it surprised me just that little bit.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Just basically, it was like hand selected nugs. I think that's kind of a cool idea. I think that's
Yeah.
a lot of what we see some people's top shelf versus not is, which is makes sense.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Cheers, y'all.
Have you been strictly vaping?
I still combust, but I've been combusting like once, maybe twice a day, mainly vaping.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Health
been nice.
benefits kicking in already?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like a lot more than I expected,
Huh.
and quicker than I expected. Yeah. Absolutely.
Interesting. Cheers, man.
Cheers, homie.
Crazy. Definitely want to get more into vaping. It's the technology we have nowadays makes it so much more feasible than it ever was before. Before I would have laughed because of the utility. Now it's phenomenal.
I totally agree, dude. Like back in the day, vaping, it was just like the way you like those old box vapes with the little hose sticking out of the middle and the hot coil. It never worked the way that it was intended, and it was such a, I don't know, even some of the ways that got it right, it just wasn't the best. But now, like you said, with the tech that we have at our fingertips, it's I enjoy it, especially running it through a bong like that or any piece of glass. Really, it's the nuanced flavors you get. It's a cleaner high, in my opinion. It's so nice.
Yeah,
Really been
even
enjoying
when
it.
you get into hemp wick, which I dropped sadly when I started using this torch because the torch is so convenient, which sucks. When you stop getting that butane high, weed stops dragging you down as much.
Yes.
I there stops being such an awkward crash. There starts to be a more defined beginning and end, and it stops dragging you down as much. Butane is not good.
No. And I even feel that same way from smoking to vaping, or combusting to vaping. There's not any of that like heaviness or that lag kind of, with it. It just feels
Okay.
clean and like airy is almost the way I can describe it. Like, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
Like-
which
yeah.
I've heard people say is the reason they don't like dabs, which I found funny before because I'm like, huh.
Interesting.
Some people might, I don't know, might like the butane high, but that's not good for you. It's good to try to
Right.
wean off of it.
Yes.
I know I liked it. That's why I'm saying it like that because the heaviness
I
is
speak
kind
from
of like
experience.
nice. It like numbs the day a bit. I mean, I still kind of partake, and that's going to be one of the biggest things on switching to vaping. That, and then the fact that it's going to take longer to get to the point that I'm currently getting pretty quick.
Mm,
So I'm going to have to probably bring my tolerance down.
yeah. Yeah, I find it for me it there's a little bit of that, but it's still I haven't found it too much like less potent. Um
Okay. Shout out the
I really haven't,
the
honestly.
new age
Yeah.
devices.
Yeah. It's been
The tabletop
sometimes I
ones.
find it's been really great. It's been nice. It really has. I enjoy it.
That's good because the tabletop
Yeah.
vapes growing up were nothing. They were weird little boxes
Dude.
that you would pull a lot of hot air on through.
Yes, you had the little thing you had to hold down.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and if you suck too hard, you'd end up burning the weed every time.
Every
Like,
time.
oh, dude, yeah.
A lot of the time burning the weed, it was tough. And you're like, oh, it's working. And you realize you burnt it actually.
And you're like, oh no, I'm just smoking through a tube.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Dude, totally. Well, and that's one thing I love about like this, the one and others like it, is just when you take it out and you can, you take out your flower from the chamber, you can clearly see that, like I have a case where I keep my vape weed because I'll turn it into edibles. You can clearly see it's brown,
Yeah.
not black. There's no ash, right? And it's just a nice visual confirmation of like, this thing actually works the way it should. I'm not smoking this and calling it vape. You know what I mean?
It's
which is
literally
nice.
Actually, vaped.
Exactly.
Oh, Lord.
I found it worked great, especially for the price. Like, I mean, there's so many out there, and I'm sure others that I haven't tried work better that are more expensive. But this thing has just been so reliable. If I had to give it one critique, the battery life could be better. With how much, like, if you're a regular user, you'll find yourself probably having to plug it in at least once throughout the day. I wish it would just last all day, because I do. However, I haven't been the best at plugging it in every single night. But I wish the
Interesting.
battery was just a little bit bigger. Lasted a little longer. But
Yeah,
aside from that, everything about like it's how it functions for what it's made for, it works great.
Have you tried other ones like the one and the mighty?
I have not tried the Mighty. I had it was a knockoff version of one. I forget what it was called. And then I had one that was a Japanese brand. And I can't remember the name of it. It was black and white. But this one is so far my favorite. The one. This one's my favorite that I've had.
Yeah.
I love this thing. Yeah, absolutely. Especially for the price. Like I just think it's great. I love it.
There's a lot of good vapes out there. God. I'm gonna have to
Oh, yeah.
start just trying out vapes. That'll be one of my new things on content. Try a bunch of different.
Yeah, absolutely. Add that in there and new little element. I just love to like the nuanced flavors that really come out in the different strains that you have when you vape. It's like you realize how unique each genetic is. It's wild. You really taste it.
That's
And Tiger Meds smoking on some Kush
amazing.
mints.
I mean,
Mhm.
that might be how you make. So there's certain strain a lot of people have said they liked, and then a lot of people have said no, that's awful.
Mm.
And I now I'm thinking about it. Some of the people vaped it, so I'm gonna have to start looking at that because it could just be bringing out different terps more.
Yeah.
You can adjust it to an exact temperature on some of these devices,
Mm-hmm.
which would target certain terpene sets.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. It's I've even found that like there'll be a strain that I'll take and I'll smoke a bowl of. I'm like, oh, okay, it was nice. I taste maybe some diesel, some of this, some of that, and then I'll vape it, and I'm like, whoa. Sometimes it's the same but like amplified. Sometimes it's a completely different flavor profile. It's wild. Blows my mind.
The-
But
Yeah.
it's nice. You get to really experience like the one of my favorites was the peanut butter breath from Handcrafted. That
Okay.
and the vape. Oh, it was doughy, it was nutty, it was funky, it was such a treat. And that's another thing too. In my opinion, the flour lasts longer. It goes farther. You saw I can get 3, 4 rips out of one little bowl rather than just a snap real quick, and then you can use that to make edibles or So it's like your weed goes a lot farther.
That's the best way to do it. The
Oh yeah.
edibles. Do you ever find that edibles from AVB, is that what it's called? AVB just feels weird sometimes, though. Like since
For me,
it's
and I've only
lesser
used it a handful of times, it's yeah, for me it hits me more like a really, really good one-to-one like entourage than it does like a normal edible,
fair,
you know?
fair. Yeah, because when you vape it, I think you vape it for the THC and some other things. So you're getting,
Yeah.
I don't know, different cannabinoids,
Yeah.
different amounts of them. I would
Yep.
assume a lot of CBN. I always get kind
Yep.
of sleepy, and that might explain it.
Yes. Yeah, and it always again, I've only done it a handful of times, but those edibles always hit me faster than normal ones. They hit me faster, but they don't last as long, and I typically get sleepy, like you said, for sure.
Huh.
Yeah. But I want to experiment more. What I did last time, it was funny. It was the first time I had tried ABV edibles in a while. So I just took it and got it really into a nice fine powder and put it in a milkshake that I had. It was actually delicious. Totally
Oh.
tasted like bud, but I didn't mind. I didn't mind the flavor. Delicious and felt nice. Really did.
And I've done it in a smoothie
Yeah.
once, a whole ton of it in a smoothie. Ended up taking the longest nap.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was asleep for so long.
Yeah. It hit me about an hour in, and I got real sleepy for sure. Yep. That's crazy. Well, I hope Ganja Bear's okay. Hope
Yeah.
his move is going well, if that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Maybe he's sleeping after the move.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just really, really high.
Maybe.
I mean, you never know.
I'm.
You
Hopefully
all
we hear
smoke
from
that
him soon.
THC WD-40. Tiger Meds, that's funny.
Hopefully we hear from him soon. Yeah. No, but
Yep.
some THC recently has acted like WD-40 for certain. Trying to get a lot done running around. And it
I'm gonna make a strain called WD-40 now.
certainly has helped keep that back moving.
Make it like WD-41 and do like a wedding cake and a gelato 41 cross. It's probably gelato cake, but
So what I found the other day is like I couldn't get this stretch to work well. I was trying really hard to what do you call it? Get my back loose again because I was in a whole ton of pain. Took a couple bowls of some CBD down, and the pain was kind of still there because this was like real pain. But I was able to actually get the stretches I needed done after that. Like I used it as an
Hell yeah.
aid to
Yep.
complete the actual task for the real relief, which
Yeah.
is rolling out the back. I just let me slow down all the thoughts in my brain because I was focused on like 18 different things. And make it just the thoughts I needed of, hey, no, this is the stretch, focus on it. I don't know. Then I felt like my body like kind of adjusts itself. The shoulder had a very scary popping noise, and I was like, wow, I feel much better though after that.
hell yeah. Nice.
Basically, like it moved back into place or something weird. Wild.
Wow. It's crazy how effective it is when you use it for an aid like that. Like you said, you pair it with something. It's like, oh wow, that actually works. Oh, you know.
Yeah. Hey, we gotta pick a giveaway. Hopefully, we
Yes,
see
we
Ganja
do.
Bear later. Otherwise, we will
Yeah.
100% figure out a prize. regardless.
Let's see.
Let's
yeah,
see
we'll
what
figure
the-
something out.
The goal was going.
Winner
to
is a
be
Liddy
flour.
log and 10 grams of flour from a special company.
That can happen
Alright.
regardless.
Yeah.
Okay, so these entries this week.
We need the moon rock giveaway. Tiger Man. That's
We can 100% get a moon rock giveaway going. I'm just looking. I keep looking for moon rocks. I would want to
giveaway.
smoke myself to an extent. Yeah,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, yep,
As
yep.
there's a lot of moon rocks out there where it's the distillate on them. I've never heard of THCA distillate. So I'm not sure what's on top of it. Hypothetically, it could be CBD distillate. It could be Delta 8 distillate. I don't know. Terpenes. None of these things are sounding ultra appealing.
No.
I just want to know what the
Tiger
oil.
Meds.
What is the oil on it, right? None
Yeah.
of these companies get me an answer that. I'm sorry. Makes me wanna endorse, sell, try it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
right.
keef and the diamonds on the top of them nowadays is all nice. That's cool. The snowballs that people are giving away, that's a real cool product. The more I think about it, because it's just pre-made for you. I've always, up to this point, been a fan of just putting a little isolate on top of the bowl, but I guess some people don't like to have that thing of isolate. To which the snowbuds is a cool product. Cool product.
Yeah.
But please, if
sure.
you're buying snowbuds, you're not supposed to break it down in a grinder.
No.
You'll just end up, your keef tray will be full of diamonds, and you'll be like, well,
Yes.
I have the best keef in the world, and it'll be, I mean, maybe that's what you want.
Maybe.
We have this week, though, for entries or Sticky Icky, Dab put his entry in. That's fun.
I sure
Gucci,
did.
Blacktop, Paper J, Frizzo, Frankenstein, Jordan, Rust, Alf, Arian, 1 Upstar for the Liddy log and 10 grams of. They keep like gatekeeping handcrafted farmers like y'all don't know the name already, guys.
I
They're
know.
going to like.
I know.
As far as handcrafted farmers goes, everybody, good luck trying to
Good
order
luck.
faster than Ganja Bear. I'm
Ugh.
pretty sure he just buys them out every single time. Sorry for that. Click out at their advertisement. Oh, look, it just opens up another advertisement underneath it, guys. That's really funny. Let us
Great.
spin that wheel. Not a lot of entries, guys. This Liddy log is quite the hash hole. And it looks like it's going to be
Black
going to Black Top. Homie's been active recently, too, so that's awesome. That is really
Very
awesome.
cool.
Congratulations, man. I don't know if you're there today, but you are the winner of the Liddy log. 10 grams coming your way as well. This is going to happen. I hope y'all enjoyed this week. It's been a really good one. It's always a pleasure coming out on Sunday mornings.
Always.
Sorry to cut it to exactly 1 hour, even though it's not really 1 full hour because we had that stream starting thing going for a little bit, but I
That's
want
okay.
to make sure that I'm able to run. I got a couple things still to get done. So much love to each and every single one of you. I hope to see you next Sunday. Hopefully there's not too much crying in the background.
Haha.
But till then.
Little
always
juice.
Deuces.